friends, it is a database management system assignment 8 of an NPTEL course conducted in April 2019. Now coming to question number 1, identify the incorrect option from the following. Here options are given: disk is non-volatile storage, main memory is volatile storage, cache memory is volatile storage, flash memory is volatile storage. Here we need to understand what is meant by volatile storage. Volatile storage is a type of computer memory that needs power to preserve stored data. If the computer is switched off, anything stored in the volatile memory is removed or deleted. All random access memories other than CMOS RAM, we call CMOS RAM, used in BIOS is volatile. So disk is non-volatile storage, which is correct statement. Main memory is volatile storage, correct. Cache memory volatile storage, correct. Flash memory volatile storage, it is incorrect. Coming to question number 2, before transaction TI executes write of X operation, a log record TI X V1 V2 is written. Identify the correct option about the log record. This log record is called update log, which is used in a recovery algorithm called immediate database modification. Because database is to be modified immediately, it won't wait for the commit operation, so that it requires to store the old value as well as the new value. For recovery, it requires to store what is its old value. Here V1 I am calling old value and V2 I am calling new value. Okay, both is required to be maintained in the log records. Now look, option A, TI updates the value of X, old value V2, it is incorrect. Old value is V1, new value is V2, so option A is wrong. TI updates the value of X from old value V1 to new value V2, old value V1 to new value V2, it is correct. TI updates the value of X to any value in the range, this is incorrect. And similarly D is also incorrect. So answer for question number 2 is option B. Question number 3. Choose the correct option from the following about database modification schemes. Here there are two types of database modification schemes. One is called immediate database modification and the second one is deferred database modification. Here immediate database modification requires the update to be done immediately before the transaction commits. Deferred database modification, deferred here we call it is a delayed, means database modification is delayed to the disk until it commits. These are the two techniques. Now coming to the options, the immediate database modification scheme, this is a question about immediate database modification scheme, allows updates of an uncommitted transaction to be made to the buffer or the disk itself before the transaction commits. That's the name called immediate, means before transaction commits only the updates to the disk will be done. So option A is the correct statement. The deferred database modification says the modification to the disk is to be delayed until the transaction commits. Here you look what option is given. The deferred database modification scheme performs updates to buffer or disk only at the time of transaction commits. It is perfectly right. Now option C given, the deferred modification scheme allows updates of an uncommitted transaction to be made to the buffer or to the disk before the transaction commits. Here because the word before the transaction commits, it is false statement. Why? Because here deferred says delaying modification, but delaying modification will not done before the transaction commits. So option C is incorrect. The option D, the immediate database modification, it says immediate, first it will updates, later transaction commits. But what it is given, the immediate modification scheme performs updates to buffer or disk only at the time of transaction commits. This is done actually in the deferred modification, not in the at the time, not in immediate database modification. So option D is incorrect. So for question number 3, both option A and option B are the correct statements. Question number 4. Consider the log records of the following two schedules of transaction T0 and T1. These are given. T0 and T1 both are given. Question is, identify the correct action required to be taken for recovery in the transaction schedules given below. For recovery, correct one. Option A given, in 1, T0 must be undone, restoring B to 600, A to 500 and log records are written out. Okay, here before checking with an options, we'll check what is required for the recovery. Here, these are the log records that are based on immediate database modifications. I identified this is immediate database modification because based on the log records, update log records. Here, update log record is of the form transaction and what data item it has updated and what is its old value and what is its new value. So old and new value is required only for immediate database modification scheme. In the immediate modification scheme, the recovery uses undo and redo operations. A transaction need to be undone. A transaction need to be undone if transaction contains only TI start log record but not commit log record. And transaction need to be redone if and only if the transaction contains a log transaction start and transaction commit. Means it contains a log records TI start, TI commit log records. Observe the first one. The first one is having both T0 commit, T0 start, so that transaction T0 is to be redone. Redo the operations. Transaction T0 updating the value of A whose initial value is 500, change it to 400. Okay, and T0 changing the value of B whose initial value is 600, changes to 700. Later T0 is committed. What redo will do, again will change the value of A to 400, change the value of B to 700. Now check for the second case. Here when you scan the log backwards, here it is finding only one log T1 start but no T1 commit, so that T1 is to be undone. Now what T1 does, T1 updates the value of C from 1000 to 900. Undoing the T1 transaction requires that 900 to be changed back to its old value 1000. Okay, next, here when you scan the log backwards, we have a T0 commit, T0 start, means T0 is to be redone. T0 is to be redone. Now look what T0 updating the value. T0 is updating the value of A and B. The value of A, that is 500, is changed to 400, which will be done one more time. And the value of B, which is 600 initially, changed to 700. Again it will be redone to 400 and 700 respectively. Now look, the question is identify the correct action. In 1, T0 must be undone, which is incorrect because what is happened with T0? T0 is redone because it is having both start and commit logs. So option A is incorrect. Option B, in 1, T0 must be redone. It is redone, correct. Setting A to 400 and B to 700. Yes, setting A to 400, B to 700. This is a correct statement. In option C, in second example, in the second schedule it is given, T0 must be redone. Yes, what is happened with T0? Redoing, because it is having start and commit lock. It is correct. Setting A to 400, it is also correct. Here you can check A is 400, B is 700. This is also correct. T1 must be undone because T1 is having only start but no commit. What it is performing? It is performing undo operation. Restoring C to 1000. After undoing it, what is the value of C? 1000. So option C is also correct statement. Look for option D. In schedule 2, T0 must be undone. It is correct. Setting A to 500, it is incorrect. But what is the value of A after undoing? What is the value of A? What is the value of A? That is 400 but not 500. So option D is incorrect. So answer for the question is both option B and option C. Question number 5. Consider the following transaction schedules having checkpoints. Here checkpoint is at a time TC. It is given. Identify the correct options based on the figure. Here keep in mind, in the case of checkpointing, all transactions before the checkpoint that are committed is to be ignored. So what here I'm writing clearly, transactions committed before checkpoint is to be ignored. And the second point is, after the checkpoint, whichever the transactions that are committed need to be redone. And the third point is, the transactions that are not committed, we can say transactions that are active. Transactions that are active need to be undone. Undo the operations. Now observe in the given diagram, transaction 1 and transaction 2 already committed before the checkpoint, so that T1 and T2 need to be ignored. And T3 is already committed after the checkpoint. Because it is committed, the T3s need to be redone. And T4 and T5 are active transactions. Because it is not committed, it requires undone, means it requires to perform undo operation. Now check for the options. Option A, T1 and T2 can be ignored. It is correct. T3 must be undone, which is incorrect. What T3 is to be done? Redone. So option A is incorrect. T1 and T2 must be redone, which is incorrect. Why? Because T1 and T2 are already committed before checkpoint. So it is to be ignored. Option C given, T1 and T2 must be redone. Again, it is incorrect because those are need to be ignored. Option D given, T1 and T2 can be ignored. T3 must be redone. Correct. T4 and T5 must be undone. It is also correct. So what is the answer for the question? Option B. Question number 6. Identify the correct options on operation log. Operation log is required for logical undo operations. It means instead of using physical undo operations, we have to perform logical undo operation. Logical undo, it is like an example. If amount is debited from account A, say 1000 is debited by some transaction and changes the value of 1000 to 900, it does mean that it is debiting 100 rupees from account A. If recovery is required, instead of performing undo operations, for performing undo operation, instead of using physical log records, we should use logical log records. What logical log records is perform some compensating operation. Because amount 100 is debited from account A, so for compensation, that 100 is to be credited into A. So means 100 added to the 900 makes again the value of A to be 1000. So it is called logical undo operations. And actually this is required for early unlocking case. Means if some transaction locked A changes the value of A from 1000 to 900, and because lock is released, another transaction may lock the same A and perform some operation. So in such cases, after that transaction performs a change, if the transaction which is changes the value of A from 1000 to 900 is undone, means aborted, so that physical undo information will not make the database system to go into consistent state. In such cases, logical undo information is required. And in logical undo, for performing logical undo, it uses an operation logs. Operation log will be of this format, where transaction I performing some operation 1. If the operation is begin, so it requires to enter a log operation begin, and it requires to perform a physical log. Here I am giving an example. Read A. A is A minus 100 and performs a write. Suppose the value of A is 1000. Okay. Now, after it performs a write operation, means before it performs a write operation, it requires to write a physical log record T1 A, and old value of A is 1000. Change it to new value 900. After this, an operation is completed because an update is completed. So it writes one more operation log T1, operation 1 completed. We can say operation end, and it requires to add the logical undo information to the log records. Here logical undo information is the value of A is to be added with 100. This is plus 100 is required. This is called logical undo information, is required to be maintained in the log records. Here, if crash occurs, the log is to be scanned backwards. Whenever it sees operation end log in the log records, it uses only logical information. If this operation end is not there, then it uses a physical log to perform undo operation. Now, understand the concept, and now try to answer the question. First option is, if crash or rollback occurs after the operation completes, the operation end log record is not found. See here, if operation completes after the operation is completed, so it requires to have an operation end log, but it is given not found. Because it is given not found, it is incorrect. Option B given, if crash or rollback occurs before the operation completes. Suppose before the operation completes, so you cannot see operation end log. Why? Because before only it is crash occurs, so that the system won't enters operation end log into the log records. Now what option is given? If crash or rollback occurs before operation completes, the operation end log record is not found. It is true statement. Option C says, if crash or rollback occurs before operation completes, operation end log record is found. See, just observe the word before operation completes. If before operation completes, if crash occurs, operation and log record is not found. Here it should be not found, but it is given found. It is incorrect. Option D given, if crash or rollback occurs before operation completes, the physical undo information is used to undo the operation. See, when crash occurred before the operation completes, because before the operation completes, can you see this operation end log? No. So how to perform a recovery? By using the physical log records, so that it is a correct statement. So answer for question number 6 is both option B and option D. Question number 7. Consider there are two relations, teacher and teachers. Here number of records in teacher is 3000, teachers is 2000. Number of blocks are 2000 and 500. The question is, worst case memory availability cost estimate in nested loop join of the above relation, considering teachers as outer relation. Here in the nested loop join, I am taking the table teachers in the outer relation, so that the table teacher in the inner relation. So how join will be performed? For each record of teachers, every block of teacher is to be transferred, and it is to be done for every block of teachers. So how many block transfers are required? Each record of teachers. How many records in the teachers? 2000. every block of teacher is to be moved. How many blocks of teacher? 200. Plus it is to be done for every block of teachers. How many blocks of teachers? It is 500. So when you calculate this, you will get an answer is 400,500. This is matching with an option A. So the correct answer is option A. And here in option A, it is also given number of seeks. Number of seeks. Number of seeks will be equals to. So number of seeks means movements. How many movements? Number of seeks are equals to. It requires to seek for every record of teachers. Means for every record, it requires one seek. Means this from this to this is one record. After one record, a search is completed. Then it should seek to next record and continue. So how many records are there in the outer relation teachers? 2000s. And for each record, we have to move all blocks of teachers. Sorry, teacher. All blocks of teacher, inner loop. How many blocks are there in the inner loop? 500. It does mean that after moving one block of inner relation from disk to memory, again it should move the disk head from one block to the next block. So how many blocks are there in the teacher? So 500 blocks are there. So that total seeks are equals to number of records in the outer relation plus number of blocks in the inner relation, that is 500. So total seeks are equals to 2500. That is the answer for the question 7. That is an option is option A. Question number 8. Let B be the number of block transfers from disk, S be the number of seeks, TB be the time to transfer one block, and TS be the time for one seek. We evaluate cost as. Now what is the cost known as? And actually proof is it is out of this scope. Actually this is a formula of a query cost. It is a formula of a query cost. Now what is a query cost? Total elapsed time for answering the query, means how much time it is required to answer the query is called query cost. So that this formula is for query cost, that is an option C. And this CPU cost and network cost is out of scope, and setup cost is also out of scope. So what is the answer for the question number 8? Option C. Question number 9. Consider the following schemas. Here it is given two schema, employee and department. Consider the following query on the above relation. The relation is finding employee name, comma, department name. Employee name in the employee table, department name in the department table. This is from both the tables, employee and department, means a join is required to be performed. Where salary is greater than 10,000. Salary is a condition in employee table, that is greater than 10,000. And location equal to Kolkata. Location is in the department table, whose value should be Kolkata, right? Now the question is the optimized relational algebra for the given query will be which of the following. Here actually optimization is to be performed. For getting an optimization, there are three-step process. First, it requires to select the required attributes only from each relation. And the second step is select only the required rows, means perform selection operation. Means instead of performing selection after the join, it is recommended to perform selection before the join. Means only departments of location Kolkata is to be joined with employees of salary greater than 10k. That's why the selection is to be done before join itself. Finally you have to perform the join. This is a logic to have an optimized relational algebra expression. Now check which options are optimized relational algebra expression for the given query. Now look, employee and department is joined, means first join is done because innermost query is going to be executed. Before it performs required attribute selected and selections. That's why option A is directly incorrect. In option B, you look, the salary greater than 1000 of employees selected, only required tuples. But here, this is joined with all tuples of department. But in department, we have a condition, location equal to Kolkata. Here in the query, nowhere that condition is there. So option B is directly wrong. In option C, look, from department, it is selecting department name, department ID, location. Location is required for condition. Okay. Department ID is required for join condition, department name for output. From this resultant tuples, resultant table, it requires to select only those tuples of department whose location equal to Kolkata. But what is mentioned here, salary greater than 10,000. Actually, salary is an attribute of employee, not the department. So option C is incorrect. So what is left is option D, which is correct. Here you look, from the department, the required attributes are selected. That is the first point. Then required tuples to be selected, selection condition is done. Then it is performing the join. It is following the logic of optimized relational algebra expression. So answer for the question is option D. Question number 10. Choose the option that is incorrect among the following where E1, E2, E3 are relational algebra expression. Here U means union, reverse U means intersection, and this is minus is the set difference operator. And set difference operator, it is not commutative. It does mean that E1 minus E2 and E2 minus E1 will give you different answer. So what is minus says E1 but not E2 definitely is not same as E2 but not E1. So minus is not commutative. Union, intersection are commutative operations. So means even if you write E1 union E2 is same as E2 union E1. Similarly, E1 intersection E2 same as E2 intersection E1. And union and intersection is also associative. Means E1 union E2 union E3 is same as first E2 and E3 are unioned, result will be E1, or else first E1 and E2 are unioned, result is E3. Similarly, intersection is also associative. First intersection between E1 and E2, then result intersection with E3 is same as first intersection between E2 and E3, then result intersection with E1. Both are same. Now question is about incorrect. So that it is given E1 minus E2 same as E2 minus E1. It is incorrect because it is not commutative. So answer for the question number 10 is option A. Thanks for watching.